Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show podcast. Hello, if you're new, so today's episode is going to be a review of Too Hot to Handle, episode 8 / the finale. So yeah, it's the final episode. We've all wasted near enough 8 hours of our life on this show. Now, in terms of what I thought the final episode would be, apart from obviously the reveal of how much money they were all going to get, I thought maybe there might be some twists. I suspected that there'd be an opportunity to win some money back, and I suspected that maybe some people might get kicked off. So in the beginning of the episode, we see some of the contestants talking about what they will gain from this whole experience. Kels, of course, says that he's going to come out of this show a bit richer. Rhonda pipes up and says, yes, I'm going to be richer mentally and stuff like that. She's definitely on job, keeping the whole personal growth performance going on with that interjection. We also see Bryce, who was missing from the last episode, and he basically reveals that Lana will be picking who the winner is, and it's totally up to Lana who wins the money. Now, this was a key detail that has been left out this season up until this point. In the beginning of the series, they made it seem as this was a group effort and everybody was responsible from the cash pot and they were going to split the money. Now, this was just very vague, but this is what they made us assume. And the fact that the contestants knew about this and we didn't makes me believe this is probably an oversight. And again, some of the rules in this show are a bit messy and they definitely need refining. So obviously at this point, I'm kind of thinking, well, if Lana is picking who the winners are, is it going to be a couple? Is it going to be one person? How are they going to dish out this money? And if it's a thing where it is everybody getting the money, is it going to be an even share or some people going to be left out? What do you guys think? In the beginning of the episode, we also see Fran complaining. And at this point in the series, I'm actually sick and tired of Francesca. I'm actually sick and tired of her and her ramblings about Harry like he's this knight in shining armor. I just don't understand it. She basically alludes to the fact that people have been coming for them. I'm guessing it's because they've been the couple who has lost them the most money. So I guess people are getting a bit fed up because they're taking the piss. They are taking the piss. And she's talking about, people just don't understand their shitty relationships and don't understand the connections that they've made. Honestly, I didn't really care. And I feel like each episode, I keep losing more and more respect for Francesca. So we see Sharon and Rhonda go on their last date. Sharon says that he wants to continue their relationship on the outside and asks Rhonda to be his girlfriend. Now, what was quite interesting is that Rhonda said, I do, like it was a marriage thing. And even in the confessional, she was joking about marriage. And even though she was kind of joking about it, I think she's dead serious. I feel like she's in love with Sharon. And again, it's another one where I'm a bit confused. I can definitely tolerate this relationship, but I'm confused as to why Rhonda is in love with Sharon, because Sharon has literally done the bare minimum in their relationship. It's shocking how little the effort Sharon has put in this relationship and how much Rhonda is rewarding him. And this is a problem. Like, this is a very serious issue. And, I just want better for Rhonda. Then Lana comes in with a twist. So the first twist of the episode was, and then Lana comes in with a twist. And then Lana comes in with the first twist of the episode. She reveals that the contestants are going to be given a chance to win some of the money that they have won back. And Kels looks happy. He looks ecstatic. Like, this is the happiest I've seen him in the whole challenge. He's great. He's great. He's ecstatic. Everybody is happy. I guess at that point, people were just kind of thinking they don't really care about the money. But now they're hearing they can gain some of it back. Obviously, people are in a good mood. And then the good mood is at a high until it's revealed how they are to win this money back. Now, the responsibility of winning this money back has been put on Harry and Francesca, and they have been tasked with a challenge of going into the private suite and not being able to have any sort of physical contact together in that room, and they will win back the money that they have lost the group. And I wasn't even counting, to be honest, but Harry and Francesca have lost the group 32k. 32k, that is like a down payment on a house. And nobody has fought them. Wow. So obviously after that is revealed, everybody is just like, for fuck's sake. Not only are we not going to get that money back, but they're probably going to lose us more money. Francesca is joking. They're not really here for the jokes. Rhonda's pissed. Sharon's pissed. And again, I just think it's very interesting that Rhonda and Sharon have got amnesia and forgotten that they literally blew 16k in one night in the room. But obviously Harry and Francesca, they literally don't value the money. Francesca said right off the bat she doesn't value the money. Harry is probably from a well-off family. So I can understand why everybody was on edge. It kind of just felt like Lana was just taking the piss. So obviously we see them in the suite and it's looking very suggestive. We see them being very playful. We see them get naked, but we don't actually see them touching. We do see Francesca in the confessional though, basically saying how she doesn't care about the money and how everybody came in here with no money, so it doesn't matter if they leave without money, and that, you know, she could do whatever she wants and they don't understand her relationship, blah blah blah. And it was just very entitled and very selfish. I just feel like for one night, no physical contact definitely isn't that deep, especially since you've literally cost the group 32k. And at that point I was just like, wow, why are you so annoying? But in terms of what I thought the chances were of them passing this challenge, I thought that it was 50-50 because obviously Francesca doesn't really care. She doesn't really give a fuck about anybody in the house except for Harry. So if Harry was to be like, yeah, let's just break the rules, let's just do whatever you want, I knew Francesca would be game. But Harry, he's a typical lad. He's very insecure and he likes to be well liked by the public, by the masses. So he knows that if he breaks this challenge and loses them and doesn't gain back the money and loses them even more money, the house is going to hate him. And that's not what he wants. So I kind of thought that if anyone is going to be the person to say, hey, let's just do it for one night, it was going to be Harry. So obviously the contestants are all waiting with bated breath. And I feel like the general mood in the house is that Francesca and Harry are selfish and that they're probably going to break the rules and cost them, and not only not win the money back, but lose them a lot of money. And I guess people were just kind of waited with bated breath. And I think at that point, the other contestants were just kind of like, well, how much is the loss going to be? Now, the next morning, we see Francesca and Harry together in the bed, not touching, fully clothed. And they both say that they had such a good time. Francesca said that it's, you know, the best fun that she's had in a long time. Again, suggestive language. Now, one thing that I did notice is obviously the rules did say no physical contact of any kind. But there are ways that you can get off with your partner without touching them. So I was just kind of thinking, because, you know, they said that all of their rule breaks would be wiped away, but the only rule that they had was no physical contact. It wasn't no physical contact and you can't break all of the other rules. It was simply no physical contact. So if they were to do things to themselves, which they could get gratification from watching each other do that, it technically wouldn't break the rules. And when they were talking suggestively in the bed about the antics that they got up to the last night, I kind of thought maybe that's what they did. They all gather in the living room for Lana to reveal if Harry and Fran passed. Harry does allude to the fact that it's up to Lana, but they don't think that they've broken the rules. The room had a lot of toys. So I just kind of thought, okay, they didn't touch each other, but they obviously touched themselves. But it's a thing where, is that going to be a pass? And Lana reveals that they did pass. Everybody is relieved. Kels is ecstatic. And Harry basically says that he hopes now that they can, you know, put everything behind them. They can start a clean slate and everything's all good. Obviously, in the final episode, everybody seems to be finding connections with people. David says he's found a genuine connection with Lydia. I personally have not seen this connection. I don't see any chemistry between David and Lydia. But what do you guys think? And then we see some of the loners in the group. We see Madison. She's kind of just been by herself. We've never really seen her interact with anyone. And Corey, again, he seems to just be doing his own thing. He's publicly saying that, you know, the experience isn't working for him. Fuck Lana, all of this stuff. I'm just kind of thinking, if somebody's going to get booted off, it's probably going to be them too. Then they have the final challenge, which is like the worst words challenge, where they write down on their bodies what's the worst things people have said to them, and they reflect on that and they let it go. Another kind of therapeutic challenge. And notably, Nicole says one of the worst things that have been said about her is that she has been called skinny. And I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think being called skinny is that bad of a thing. I'm a size 2, UK 6. I used to be even smaller than a UK size 6. And honestly, being called skinny like wasn't the worst thing in the world. And honestly, being called skinny wasn't like a traumatic experience for me, because I felt like I was skinny. I don't really feel like it's like a slur or anything. Of course, each to your own. If she feels like that is like the worst thing that she's been called and it's really affected her, then that is her. But for me personally, as somebody who's been called skinny, I personally don't think it's that deep. Harry says the worst things that have been called to him is that he's been called arrogant and stuck up, but he thinks he's changed and he's not those things anymore. I'd have to say that is a lie. Definitely still see it. And it's probably going to be there for like at least another 10 years. Rhonda says that the worst thing that she's been called is controlling from her ex, from her baby daddy. And she's basically saying how she has tried to make men into the men that she's want to be after they've been resistant. And it kind of sounds like to me like Rhonda is a build a man woman. And we've seen her try and do it with Sharon as well. And let me tell you, if you're about that build a man life, all you're going to see is struggle, and you're going to continue to see that. I personally don't think that you can build a man. And I personally don't think that that is anything that you should be entertaining or aspiring to do. And Lydia says the most hurtful thing that she's been called is a psycho. And she gets really emotional about it. She says it was really hurtful when somebody called her a psycho. But I'm not gonna lie, like, if somebody is calling you a psycho, it's probably for a good reason. So David, he better watch out. And Bryce, we see a bit more of a vulnerable moment with Bryce. He reveals that, the worst thing that he's been called is ugly, and how he used to be bullied when he was younger, and it really affected him, and he was insecure about it, and he puts on this front and this big personality to mask that. And you know what? I can definitely see that in Bryce, and I'm here for the honest reflection. It was nice to see that. Another interesting worst word challenge bit was Madison. Somebody has called her fat. For me, she looks like, an average size. She does have a big bum though. She has a great bum. But she's also been called a waste. I'm not gonna lie, that was a bit ironic. After that challenge, Lana brings the contestants together and she reveals that some people are going to be kicked off the island. And the people that are kicked off the island are Madison and Corey, because they haven't been making enough progress. And I feel like that was literally a no-brainer. And I feel like that was literally a no-brainer. Madison basically says that, it sucks, but, everything happens to a reason. To be fair to Madison, I really don't feel like she was given a fair chance, because I feel like the reason why she wasn't taking things seriously is because she was literally a loner there. She had no friends. So it's kind of like, why would you want to like participate and give your all into something when you're not really happy? You're kind of isolated from the group. Corey 100%, like you could tell there was no progress there. I feel like it would have been better for them to kick them out at the end after revealing the winners of the money and then saying that they didn't win the money. That would have been way better than kicking them out at that point. But yeah, when they left, that's when I realized how big Madison's bum was when she was hugging everybody. Chloe and Kels seem to be very happy about Corey and Madison's departure. Obviously, Chloe more so with Corey. But both Chloe and Kels basically say, like, yes, less people, more money to split. So in the final stretch of the episode, we also see Fran and Harry having a moment. It was inevitable. We were going to see them. I just don't support their relationship. And again, I just think it's very strange. Fran is saying that, she wants to be with Harry on the outside and how she wants him to move to Vancouver. And Harry saying that, it's something that he could consider. And Fran is saying that she trusts Harry with her life. And I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's literally absolutely comical at this point. Like, I mean, we all watched episode 1. We saw how Harry was so quick to throw her under the bus and then have this hate campaign against her, literally unprovoked, but you trust this guy with your life. Babe, you are dying. I don't know how Harry has managed to secure Francesca and how Francesca's so besotted with him. Whatever magic he's spinning, I might need to ask him for some spells. We also see Rhonda FaceTiming her son and introducing her son via FaceTime to Sharon. Now, I you know what, I'm not a mother or anything, probably is not my place, but I'm just gonna say I don't think Rhonda should have introduced Sharon to her son. And the reason why is because even though they're boyfriend and girlfriend now, technically, they've been living in this bubble that's very intense, and it's not realistic of the real world. Even though it seems like they know each other, it's still very much a filtered version of them. There's cameras everywhere, there's producers everywhere. We're not going to see 100% authenticity out of any of these contestants. So for the simple fact is, you don't really know for sure how he's going to be in the real world. I'm not sure why you would think it would be a good idea to introduce him to your son. Granted, the son is 2, probably even forget about Sharon the next day. But yeah, I just don't think it was wise, to be honest. Well, what do you guys think about Rhonda introducing Sharon to her son? So in the run-up of the reveal of the win, people are speculating about who's going to be picked as the winner. Is it going to be a group thing? Is it going to be an individual winner? Is it going to be a couple's winner? Some people are speculating that it's going to go to Rhonda, and people are speculating that it's going to go to Francesca and Harry. I feel like in terms of if it had to go to a couple, I think most people would want it to go to Rhonda and Sharon in the house. I think the general consensus in the house is that Francesca and Harry have broken way too many rules and been very selfish. So they don't deserve to win the money. And particularly Kels and Chloe were both very vocal about it. And I think definitely the rivalry between them played a part in that thinking as well. So in the kind of winning ceremony that they have in the living room, Lana starts to reveal people's names one by one. And at first she reveals Fran and Harry and kind of makes it seem like it's just going to be them who are the winners. You know, it's just going to be them who were the winners. Then she tells Rhonda and Sharon to stand up, and it's looking like, okay, maybe it's going to be a couple split. But then she starts naming individual people, and it becomes very clear early on that everybody's going to get the money and everyone's going to get an equal split. And I just felt like the whole reveal was just very underwhelming. Like there was no suspense there. And just like we've been building up to this, I just kind of feel like it should have just been like, this is what you guys have won. And that would have been just it, you know? I feel like it should have just been a thing where everybody knew that they were going to win a piece of money. The grand total was revealed. And then perhaps we might have seen them spend time together without the rules put in place. I think that definitely would have been better than that underwhelming reveal. So they all get basically, I think it's 7.5k each in dollars, which is probably around so that's approximately £6,000 each, which is a nice chunk of money considering you all just basically had a free holiday. Girls can definitely go on 2 really nice holidays, or maybe like 3 average holidays with that, definitely. Or, you know, pay rent for a year. So yeah, it is a nice chunk of money. But I definitely just be thinking like I definitely could have had more money. So in terms of my overall thoughts of the show, I feel like it was a decent job. I do feel like it was a bit of a rip-off of Love Island. I do personally think Love Island is better. I think this show could definitely have the potential to be better than Love Island. But I think various improvements need to take place. But as this season was, I'd probably rate it a 3 out of 5, but I'd be interested to hear what you guys would rate this series, season 1, out of 5. I think what went well is the international cast, the contestants that they picked. Most of them had like a good personality for TV, and the drama, there was a lot of drama, and the aspects of temptation, and the aspect of the money incentive. But what I think were the cons of the show was that the rules were messy. The rules were messy and inconsistent. inconsistent and confusing at times. It kind of felt like sometimes the rules applied, sometimes they didn't. They definitely needed more money hungry people. It's very clear that some of these people were either well off personally or came from a well off background, so therefore money wasn't an incentive, and therefore there was less arguments about money. And I feel like they definitely needed a lot more twists, maybe have some elimination vote offs. It would have been great if maybe there was a kind of aspect of couples, but maybe just a growth couple, solely about building a genuine connection on that, whether it was romance or friendship. And I feel like they needed more fun challenges. Most of the challenges were about self-growth, and okay, of course, that's like the main premise of the show, but it definitely would have been fun to see funner challenges, maybe challenges that were a bit more messy, that could have caused a bit more drama. I feel like that would have probably improved the show a lot. And the ending, the way that they revealed the winners definitely needs to change. I think that is very underwhelming. The voiceover definitely needs to go. They need to either get a new one or just scrap the voiceover, because I feel like the show didn't even really need a voiceover. I feel like the cast was strong enough to carry the series without a voiceover. In terms of Lana, you know what? I didn't hate Lana, but I definitely think that they could have been a better alternative. I think actually it could be better with a physical host. But I think it could be better with an actual physical host, like they do in Love Island. I think Lana was a bit stale sometimes. Obviously, it will save production costs. Not having to hire a presenter. But I think a presenter would definitely bring it back to life. You know, a presenter to reveal the rule breaks and stuff like that. Now, in terms of if this is renewed for season 2, what I would like to see done differently in season 2, I think obviously they've got an international cast, but it's still a very Western feel. It's all from like English speaking countries. I'd like to see different countries involved, so people from the Caribbean, people from Latin America, from Africa, people from Asian countries, and I feel like that would make it feel a bit more international. It will make it feel a bit more cultural, and I feel like it will spice things up. Diversity as well. I think the show could definitely benefit from having a more diverse cast. It was still very a majority white cast, and then you know, they sprinkled a few black people in there. They definitely could have made it a bit more diverse than it was. All the other improvements, I've probably already said them. But yeah, like I said, it was very promising. It started off really great, but I think by the end it started to wane a bit. My interest started to leave, and the ending was a bit underwhelming. But in terms of my favorite character by the end of it, it's changed a bit. See, on the first episode, my favorite characters were Chloe, Harry, Rhonda. By the end of it, I think my favorite character, I only had one, and it was Kels. Kels was a mood all episode. Mr. Money Man. I loved how he stood up to Harry. I love how he respected himself, how he set boundaries and he stuck to them. I respect it. But yes, let me guys know what your final thoughts of the season were. Let me know who your favorite contestants were. Let me know what your favorite moment was. I think for me, my favorite moment was probably the whole Francesca and Hailey revenge situation. I think that was my favorite part of the season. And also Harry just doing that 360 and throwing Francesca under the bus. That was a very iconic moment. So yeah, that is the end of the Too Hot to Handle podcast. For now, I'll definitely be back for season 2 if it is. In terms of other shows you can expect on my channel coming, I guess RuPaul's Drag Race, if you're into that. I do a RuPaul's Drag Race podcast. But I'm thinking of doing more reality TV podcasts. So if you've got any reality TV podcast suggestions, do let me know. And I'll also be doing my regular TV, Netflix TV/film reviews, and Amazon as well now, and maybe even some Apple TV. But stay tuned for that. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. If you have taken the time to subscribe, make sure you've got my post notifications on, so you know when my next piece of content is dropping. But yes, till next time guys, bye.